Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface. Welcome back to this Motorsport Manager series, our Audi career. We're back today with pretty much the official beginning of Season 2. Last time out we had the season preview for Season 2, went over what all the cars had done in the pre-season, who had moved where, the huge news that Lewis Hamilton had moved to Ferrari to partner Charles Leclerc. A big move, Ferrari looking really strong. That Red Bull have the strongest car heading into this season, Renault a step behind them. Then we have Ferrari. That car still really strong, but it is the third best overall. They do have the best driver lineup, I would believe, with Hamilton and Leclerc in that car. They do. McLaren taking a huge step forward in terms of performance, a better chassis. Obviously, they're using the Mercedes power, but it seems they have a better chassis than the actual works Mercedes team. They won the fan vote, they've had a massive boost to them. It's not a massive boost, but it was a boost. It has moved them up to 4th. Whether they can go ahead and stay at that position. Last season McLaren lagged a little bit in development of their car as the season went on. They won a race early on with Lando Norris. Can they keep the Aston Martin still looking really strong themselves? Ourselves as Audi were 7th. Our engine is terrible. We know that. We're working on a new engine. It will take 23 days from this point, so it's not going to be ready for the next race, but it will be ready for China. The engine is useful here, which is not too bad for us. It's going to be a rainy practice, but yeah, we're going to jump straight into practice the race. We went over everything pre-season wise in the last video. There's no upgrades to go over because there's no time to do anything before the start of the season and getting into the first race. So we're just going to jump into things here. It is high, medium, 38 laps. So we'll just do what we usually do and take 7, 4, 4. As it is for sponsors. I don't think we're going to come first, though. We might as well take direct supply at 50,000. We've got a chance of coming 4th or above. There's not a lot of money available from sponsors. I think someone pointed out as well that Mercedes have Honda. Sponsored by Honda at the moment. Nothing I can do about the sponsors. The teams just pick them themselves. It's not one of the things I can actually go ahead and change. I don't think there's anyone else. Just whenever they come due, like Aston Martin will lose this sponsor on the side at some point. Haas will lose this and be sponsored by someone else. There's a lot of automotive sponsors in the game, so we're going to see some weird sponsorship combinations. Just don't pay any mind to it, just ignore it. But anyway, we're going to get through practice and we'll be back in second for qualifying, which is going to be clear, so we'll get a good idea of where all the cars are going to be for this season, and we'll go over everything when we head into qualifying. So we're heading into qualifying. We've got rain, which is what I didn't want, because as you can see, last season we had a vote which has carried through into this season. We now have the 3-stage qualifying, which I don't really like in this game because it doesn't seem to work out. It's a little bit off. The AI is not the best at managing through it because it was something that was added to the game afterwards through an update. I think it was when the first DLC came around, they added the 3-stage qualifying in. It's always been a little bit wonky. The AI is not the best at managing their tyres, picking a good tyre selection and sort of running out of super softs for Q3. We'll just have to live with it this season. We might skip Q1 and Q2 out in future. Depends how we do. I don't know where our cars are going to be at this season. We might think about skipping over those in the videos, but then again we might just use Q1 and Q2 to sort of go through the updates for the video instead of staying on the menu screen. We'll get into qualifying and go over the updates and what the other cars have done and so on and so forth whilst we do Q1 and Q2. But as it is, we've got rain. It's going to ease off through the middle of the session, which is not good. I hate the rain in qualifying in this game because it just means we're going to see some of the Mercedes, we're going to see a Ferrari, the Renaults, we're going to see some of them out in Q1. What do we have? We have qualifying trim and we have soft. We don't have a super soft setup. Maybe we should just take the inters, or should we take the softs? Because no, we're going to take inters because we're not. If we were in Q1, I would have used a pair of softs, but we're going to take inters since we're going to be running on a wet track. Maybe we're going to just have to follow what the AI does as best as we can, just to make things a little bit fairer. But we do have 3-stage qualifying this season. It is going to be our first chance at seeing a lot of the new liveries for these cars. The rain is going to get really heavy. We're just going to have to go out because the AI is going to go out. We can't really take any sort of advantage over them or not. We didn't get much running in because the rain started. Tried to get it a little bit closer, but there wasn't much running done in practice. We seemed pretty quick, but not that quick, if you get what I mean. A lot of cars are on soft tyres as well. So it's going to be a chance. Well, we're not even going to really get a chance to see where these cars are at this season, because the track is at all sorts of stages throughout this session. It is going to dry off towards the end of the session though, so maybe, I don't know where we're going to be at. We might even find ourselves out of this in the early going. We'll just have a quick look through some of the other liveries on track. There we go with the gold on the Haas. We've got the Aston Martin, which has slightly changed. It's still similar to last season. The Alpha's not changed. The McLaren is now orange and black. Looks nice out on track. The darker Mercedes looks pretty nice out on track as well. Who else changed? Red Bull didn't. Renault switched back to yellow and black. I'm not quite liking the look of that out on track. Williams changed up a little bit to get some of the red back on for the Rocket sponsorship. The AlphaTauri changed round, and the Ferrari is a little bit darker than it was last season. But currently, as it is, Gasly is first, but then we say that and he gets overtaken by Norris. So we don't seem too far out of the orders. We've dried off a little bit. We've got some cars on a dry track on the Inters. I'm guessing some of the middle order cars. Luckily, Sydney's not the shortest. So it means everyone should be back out on a wet track, although the Alpha, who is currently last, is out on a dry tyre. We're not going to make it round, so I think we're going to get back out on an intermediate here. We have quite a few available. Should we go on a fresh pair? I'm going to have to go on a fresh pair out. We're going to go for Inters. We might be out a little bit too early here, but we want to catch that rain. Although some of the AI cars are going to catch that rain towards the end of the session where it's a little bit lighter, so we might be getting out of not getting out of Q1 here. Might have thrown us totally out of it. Try not to cheat by it. We could have timed it and got out on that dry track. If we'd have timed it, we could have done our whole run on the dry track. I don't like doing that because the AI doesn't have the option of doing that. As you see, we've got a lot of cars running on the dry tyre in the rain. And the other reason at the moment why I don't like the 3-stage qualifying, it is a little bit wonky, because we see pretty much it is 9 cars eliminated during Q1, and then it will be 5 cars eliminated during Q2. Sort of the wrong way round of how we would like stuff to work, but we can't change that in any way as far as I know. We've got both our cars running a little bit close together here. We're running a lot slower than the last lap, so it looks like we're going out in Q1 in the rain here, so we're out. Meanwhile, we've got a Renault out as well, and a McLaren out. Both Alfa Romeos remain out of the running as well, just a long way behind, so we've got some work to do during this race. Not the best qualifying session for us. Tried to run it as the AI was running it. Didn't seem to work out either, and Danny Rick manages to get through right at the death. Danny Rick sets the quickest lap of the session, the Renault, currently there. But I'm going to have to see what happens here, because we do have another 2 qualifying sessions to go here. And eliminated one of the Aston Martins. Esteban Ocon is out. Lando Norris, who set the quickest lap at one point, is out as well. Then we've got Gasly followed by Vettel out as well. So we'll watch it. We'll just watch it. We could sim it, couldn't we, since we're not actually in the running in this session? Maybe we will. No, because I don't like it, because it does... If you sim the session, it does throw it up more in terms of how the overall database sits and not what happens out on track. So we will just go through it here. Who should we watch? We'll watch Carlos Sainz, since he's quickest over the first sector here. He's out on track first, I believe, so Sainz goes quickest. Ricciardo looking mightily strong here around his home race. Does he go quick? He's not giving me a time there. He goes quicker, just slightly quicker than his teammate Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez made the move from Haas. Looking forward to his first season here in Renault. Perez in a car that has the possibility of winning championships. It didn't seem like that last season. They had a really good car. Didn't work out for them, but Verstappen has gone overall quickest as well. It looks like it's going to be dry for this whole session. Just wish we could have got through here, but the rain just totally did us in for this session. Russell is 8th quickest at the moment. Leclerc and Hamilton looking strong here. Leclerc about a 10th of a second quicker than his teammate at the moment. Hamilton comes out of the garage first out of the pair of Ferraris. Couple of minutes left in this session. Who's going to go quickest? Hulkenberg quickest through the first sector, having stepped down from Ferrari, made the move to Williams. He's looking pretty quick around this first lap. Goes first overall in a Williams. the sort of performance he should have been putting in last season for Ferrari that would have possibly seen him keep that Ferrari seat, although would Ferrari have passed up the chance of Hamilton if Hulkenberg had been performing as well. Hamilton, meanwhile, is quickest in the first sector, Leclerc quickest in the second. Hamilton goes quickest. Leclerc will go first, beating his teammate by 3.5 tenths of a second. Hulkenberg up there in a Williams. So after the second round of qualifying, we've got the two Haas's of Newgarden and Magnussen out. We've got an Aston Martin out as well. The Williams of Latifi out, and Robert Schwartzman of the Prema is eliminated as well. That is quite a good qualifying session though, into Q2 for the Prema. So we're not too bad here with how the running has turned out. We've obviously lost our two Audis, although we are not a top 10 car at the moment. RKI 7th overall. Would see us realistically be 13th and 14th. Obviously we would hope for a little bit better than that with Vettel, since he's one of the better rated drivers in the game. Possibly, I don't know if he's still rated the best. I think it is Max Verstappen at the moment. Lewis has sort of lost a step in the ratings, is about equal with Charles Leclerc. Then we get down to Danny Rick. I think Vettel's there with him as well. And both had cars. So who are we going to follow here? Should we? Verstappen's not even out yet. Who's the first car out on track at the moment? It is Carlos Sainz again, has come out of the garage first. Maybe we should follow Danny Rick in his home Grand Prix. So Danny Rick is out for his lap. We'll just keep an eye on the timings. Obviously Sainz is quickest over the first sector, but Ricciardo a little bit slower than him. And over the second, so close between the McLaren and the Renault here. Sainz goes quickest. Ricciardo a very slightly behind. Verstappen is quickest though overall once again, although not that much over the first sector from, is it the McLaren? I don't know who it would be, because we've got the times from all the other cars he's currently following. Who is that in front? Is that car number 9? That is Lewis Hamilton out in front of him. Looks like Max Verstappen's going to grab pole off the first lap. So it all comes down to who's got tyres left heading into the second session here. Verstappen though slowed down over that last sector. It's so close between the top 4 cars of Leclerc, Alonso, Hamilton and Verstappen. Obviously the Red Bull does have the quickest car. Alonso is, I think he's still rated like the 3rd best rated driver in the game. He's not, his stats haven't started to degrade just yet. But who is coming out? Who's that coming out of the pits? That is Hulkenberg. He's on a used pair of super softs, which is not the best, which is why I hate 3-stage qualifying in this game. The AI doesn't take enough, although you would have probably thought Williams probably would have taken more race tyres. If he sets his quickest lap on this super soft though, then he will start the race on this with a more than half done pair of super softs. So I don't know why you would come out for another lap after setting that first one. We don't know. I think most of the other cars are, because these tyres, even though they're half done, since the tyre lives are so long, it's gone through a lot though on that tyre. Is it used that like 3 times maybe? Is that why it's like that? It's not, I don't know. But anyway, Hulkenberg is out on track. Everyone else is out as well. Who are we going to stay with? We'll stay with Hulkenberg for a little bit. We'll see who sets the quickest first sector. Who is this alongside him? I'm guessing it's Alonso. Yes, it is. So we'll stick with Alonso. So Hulkenberg will stay 7th. He doesn't actually go any quicker, I don't think. It's not his quickest lap. No, about 2 tenths down. So you see, even though they're half down, the tyres, they're still pretty quick because of the way I've set the tyre lengths. They do last quite a while. Over the first sector though, who is quickest? No one's actually set a quickest first sector, so it should still be Verstappen over the first sector, although Sergio Perez, a really quick first sector. Can he make it from 10th, although he's lost out on the second sector as Hamilton goes quickest. So it's still Leclerc in pole position. Hamilton has a chance here. He's only got to put his 2 tenths up. Hamilton goes first in his first race for Ferrari. Perez came across the line in 6th place as well. A really good qualifying session for Renault here. But as we see, as what might happen in the first few races of the season, Ferrari dominating here in Sydney. Obviously, if you remember back to last season, if you watched last season, Ferrari were really strong at the start of last season. I think they won the first 6 races, or was it 5? It was Leclerc winning 4 or 5, and then 4 or 5 in a row, and then Hulkenberg winning one. But yeah, we do have the soft tyre performance increase, because I'm guessing, well, we might as well start on the softs, aren't we, since we're so far down. It is 38 laps around here, 24 to 18, we can do that pretty easily. And Gasly's smoothness rating is a little bit better than that of Stoffel Van Dorn, who was in the car last season, so he should be able to do this as well. Just about. I think the medium's going to be too slow around this track though, so we're going to go for the soft and then get onto the super soft to finish the race. And we'll just go into high, so hopefully we do have a chance of moving up the order. Obviously, I don't know how this is actually going to work out in the race because we've got the cars now starting as they would in real life on used sets of super softs. But anyway, we'll go down the grid for the start of this season, the 2022. Got to try and get that in my head. It is the 2022 Sydney Grand Prix. We've got the two prancing horses, two Ferraris on the front row of the grid, Hamilton followed by Leclerc. Then we've got Danny Rick in the Renault, Alonso in the Red Bull, Max Verstappen in the Mercedes, Sergio Perez in his first race in a Renault is 6th, Albon is 7th in a Red Bull, Sainz is 8th in a McLaren, Hulkenberg really good for him in the Williams, his first race for them, 9th place, 10th for George Russell, disappointing for him in his first race for the Silver Arrows, Newgarden pretty impressive, 11th in a Haas, Magnus and his teammates just behind him. Then we have Lance Stroll in an Aston Martin, Latifi in a Williams, not bad for Williams in this qualifying session. Schwartzman in the Prema is 15th, Yuri Vips is 16th, Ocon 17th, Norris 18th in a McLaren. Then we on the 10th row of the grid we've got both our cars. We've got Gasly followed by Vettel, a half a second between them, although I'm guessing that was down to how much water was on the track. Then we've got Tsunoda in his first race in Formula 1 in the AlphaTauri, followed by 22nd Giovinazzi in the Prema. And then we've got the Alfa Romeos bringing up the rear of the grid. Mick Schumacher in his first race for Alfa Romeo would have thought he was taking a step up going to Alfa Romeo from Prema. Alfa Romeo on the back row of the grid. I don't think we've got any rain coming, we never know, but who should we stick with here? We'll stick with Vettel, but should we have a quick look at the front of the order here? Oh, no, we switched. Come on, that was a good start. It was Hamilton who got away pretty quickly, but then Leclerc got the second phase quicker, and Hamilton is dropping down the order here. He's into 4th place. I'm guessing we're going to go push here. We don't want to push too much though, but we will attack on the tyre in the early going. Ricciardo has got himself up into 2nd, Alonso is in 3rd, Perez 4th, Albon 5th, Mercedes of Verstappen all the way down there. Russell has been pushed out of the top 10, although gets that place back from Lance Stroll, his teammate last season in the Aston Martin. Will be looking to improve during this race. Vettel has got in front of Gasly, has moved up a position. He has. I think he started 20th. Gasly was 19th when we started. We're the only team on the soft tyre though. The AI who has started outside the top 10 have all gone for mediums. Interesting. I'm guessing it's because the tyre wear rate is quite high. If we struggle on this tyre, we might be forced onto the medium to finish the race, but we've got to go aggressive, we've got to make up places, we've got to give Vettel a chance of fighting towards the top 10 as we see him get past Carlos Sainz there, who's had a shocking start in the early going, finds himself already down to 16th and behind his teammate Lando Norris here. Where's Hamilton dropped to? Hamilton's dropped all the way down into 8th place here. Not a good start to his Ferrari career. Obviously he had a really good qualifying session, hasn't put it together over the first 2 laps of the race. Ricciardo is in 2nd. Hopefully Renault are going to have a better... I'm just going to have to start cooling this down. Is it warm here? No, it's not too warm. I'm just going to have to look after this tyre a bit. But Renault, as we saw last season, weren't the best with their strategy. Hoping that they've got it together this season as we currently follow a Williams of Latifi and get overtaken by Robert Schwartzman in a Prema. I'm guessing this engine is going to hold us back for the first 2 races this season. We've got a lot of work to do. Hopefully that engine puts us about halfway up, maybe a little bit higher than halfway, but then as soon as the AI starts developing their engines, we're going to be back in a position as well of being a little bit further down the order. Gasly is struggling here a little bit as well. We've gone with Gasly over Van Dorn this season because he's got a better overtake stat, but we've just got to try and move him up through the order here. So if we give him a little bit of room to push, is that Vettel in front of him? Yes it is. So Gasly, we're going to have to get Vettel pushing as well, otherwise he's just going to come under pressure from his own teammate. So we're going to get back to pushing a little bit, but we do need to make sure that we can get these tyres through. And Gasly battling away with Vettel here. Gasly gets around his teammate here, but Vettel gets it back and also gets the move done on Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz as well. Not Sainz. What am I saying? Vettel up into 15th. It's still Leclerc. He's got a 5-second gap over Daniel Ricciardo at the moment as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these cars filter out. Obviously, Leclerc is so far ahead. I think the race is long enough as well that even though that and Sainz gets a little boost and goes flying past Vettel. I'm guessing the tyres are a little bit too hot. We're just going to keep running as well. We're going to get Gasly into conserve mode, which is so far down the order here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these, because they might have to two-stop with that super soft being so low. I'm guessing they're all going to go mediums, which might give us an advantage. Although, saying that, we've got to get past these cars in front of us. Obviously, Sainz, who started in the top 10. We should be able to get him over the course of this race, but whether we get up into the points, it's going to be a struggle this season, it looks like, as Vettel is currently battling with his teammate, Esteban Ocon. His first race in that Aston Martin, which is a pretty powerful Aston Martin with the Mercedes power unit. Although the Mercedes power unit isn't the best in this early part of the season. I think the Honda power unit is the best, followed by Ferrari and then Renault, which are pretty close together, but Red Bull do have the advantage in terms of just raw power in their car, that Honda, which is also in the AlphaTauri. But Vip's not getting as much out of it, although the Sonoda, not a very good chassis overall, the AlphaTauri. It might be in for another long struggle this season. I would like to give AlphaTauri a little bit of a boost, but it's just not going to happen unless they can start getting their act together with what they're doing. We're just battling away with each other here. I mean, who is actually quickest on track at the moment? It's just so close together. We're going to have a massive coming together if we don't just let one of these cars go. I think we're just running so close, side by side. I mean, we'll give her one more lap, just running the same. If we just go back to neutral, and then whoever's leading at that point, we're going to give them the order to go. And it looks like it is Vettel, so we're going to give Vettel the order to go. Get him a little bit of separation from Gasly. Yes, we know. We need to get past Schwartzman. Once we do that, then we can give Gasly the order to go as well. I'm getting to the point of the race where a lot of these these cars up at the front are going to start thinking about coming into the pits as well. As it is, Gasly currently 17th. He's setting his quickest lap of the race, although not by much. He's struggling to get past Schwartzman. We're about halfway done through this tyre, which is not good, is it? We're only about 10 laps, and we've lost the camera. We've gone to a steady cam there, but Vettel is on the back of Carlos Sainz. We're going to just let Vettel cool down a little bit. We don't want to go through these tyres too much. We do want to try still one-stop this race. Although I think if we have to go super soft and do a two-stop, it's going to have to come to that. I don't think the mediums are quick enough at all. Although they would say that, and then these cars are hanging on pretty well, aren't they? That are on the mediums at the moment. They do look pretty quick, so we might not have too much trouble if we do have to go that. We see a lot of cars coming to the pits. They're obviously going to filter back out into traffic now, which is going to upset a lot of them. The races, as we see, Alonso is behind Vettel at the moment. We see Perez come out on a pair of super softs. So a lot of these cars are going for a two-stop. They're going super soft, super soft. A lot of these front runners, we see Albon and Hulkenberg, they're possibly not going to get through to the end. We know Hulkenberg doesn't have any soft tyres left though. That is what we know. Can we actually get to look? I don't think we can we, from here? Yeah, we can. Data Centre. Who has tyres left? If we look, where at Williams, Hulkenberg only brought 2 pairs of softs. 2 pairs of super softs. Look how many mediums they brought. It's what I'm on about with the AI. Obviously, they didn't think they were going to get through Q1, but it's amazing that I managed to get through a Q3. Obviously, the first session was there with the rain, which allowed them, but as we see, Haas, obviously, they didn't think they'd get through. But Aston Martin had a realistic chance of getting through to Q2 and Q3. They only brought 2 sets of supers. For Esteban Ocon, did he even use any in the race? Is this counting the ones that we used in qualifying? Audi, no, it's not, is it? It's not counting the ones we took to qualifying. Yeah, because it's not showing our used tyres. Although we didn't use any in qualifying, did we? Any supers, because we went out on Inter. Yeah, it's counting, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Why would you bring 2 sets? I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to this race. Let's speed up a little bit. We're currently on Perez here, but we want to be with Sebastian Vettel. We're going to think about recovering some fuel soon, but I don't know. As we see Alonso go past at Red Bull, obviously a lot quicker than us. Although, are we catching up back up to Latifi here? So Ricciardo is in traffic. Is he closing up? He is actually closing up though. No, he's lost a little bit of time as well there. And he's behind Aston Martin at the moment. Who is in front of him? It's Lance Stroll. Leclerc still hasn't stopped. Doing a pretty good job on that tyre, but it is all about us at the moment. We're just currently running nicely in 7th place here. Just waiting for our pit stop, hoping that we can get through to a point where we can get on to another set of tyres. Hopefully the super softs is the plan, but it might not be that way for Pierre Gasly. His tyres running a little bit cool at the moment. Sparks flying out of the back of his car. He's currently got Lewis Hamilton behind him as well. So Lewis Hamilton a long way behind. Leclerc has come into the pits but has come out behind Daniel Ricciardo. But obviously Leclerc is going to the end of the race here. Ricciardo is stopping again. So we're going to get a good idea of how much quicker the super soft is over the medium here. Obviously it's the skill of the drivers, the difference between the cars in there. It's not equal cars, not equal drivers. Looks like Leclerc's holding on with that fresh pair of mediums at the moment. Onto the back of Danny Rick, but Danny Rick is currently leading this race. He does have to stop again, but should still be in the chance with a podium, because I don't think anyone else is going to try one stop from this point. Has anyone else pitted and gone for a medium? Looks like it's only Charlie that's done that. It's only Charles Leclerc that's gone for a medium after stopping from a pair of super softs, which bodes well for us. Pierre Gasly is running a little bit cool at the moment. I think we're going to have to push with him, because he's definitely going to have to go for the mediums unless we go for 2 super softs. But we see in this medium is hanging on to the super softs here, isn't it? Especially, although we can say that Leclerc is keeping up with Ricciardo, we don't really get a chance to see, but we're doing 1:49.7. They're a lot quicker than our softs are running at the moment, so should we think about it, it's 27 laps. We're going to do it. We're going to get Gasly in early-ish. This should get us through to the end of the race. On a pair of mediums. We're still going to try stretch though to get Vettel through onto a pair of super softs. We've got fuel to consider recovering with Pierre Gasly as well at some point in this race. And there goes Pierre Gasly. Hopefully no mistakes on the pit stops, nice and quick. But we're out into last place. But a lot of cars do still have to pit at the moment. Vettel is a little slow, but that should be alright. So let's think about it. The hards are 0%, the mediums are 5%, the softs are 10% before they fall off a cliff. 18 laps, although obviously we've seen that we would want maybe 14 laps for a pair of super softs, or should we 2-stop with Vettel? I don't think we're going to be that much quicker on a pair of super softs and try to go for the 1-stop. I think we're going to have to just bite the bullet and go mediums with Vettel if we do want to 1-stop, or should we try switch it up? Oh, I don't know. What is 1:49? It's so close between those two times. That super's not working much outside the range of the mediums here. As Lando Norris currently leads his Grand Prix, but is yet to stop, although he's pretty close to Ricciardo. Ricciardo does have to stop again. Norris has only got a 1-stop. Norris is in a pretty good position here for getting up there in terms of having a decent top 10 finish. Yeah, so I think we're going to do the same as what we did with Gasly. We're going to get in before these tyres start to think about dropping off. We're going to get into the pits. We're going to see what we do here. Look at that. We're getting past Verstappen, actually out on track. Who is on a fresher pair of super softs after making 1 stop, which puts us in a really good position here. If we're in front of a Mercedes that does have to stop again, we're not doing too badly here then, all things considered. We could be in. Oh, Gasly's managed to get past Vettel on track, being on that medium tyre. You have fuel to recover from both. Vettel is on a quicker tyre at the moment, so I think we're just going to have to go ahead and order Gasly to let him through here. We don't want him slowing Vettel down. Vettel is our best option at the moment. You may or may not agree with that, but we see Vettel is flying away here. We do have him just on a different strategy entirely, though. We'll get Gasly's tyres heated back up a little bit. So what are we doing? Gasly is doing a 149.7, which is not too bad compared with the other teams that are sort of in and around here. Obviously, we're not going to match the performance times of these top cars. Although Norris on a used pair of mediums is going quicker than this pair of super softs. So what I thought before the race, the mediums, maybe because it's pretty cool here, that the mediums are the hardest tyre compound for the weekend, are working quite well around here. Gasly sets the fastest lap of the race. Gasly sets the fastest lap of the race. Does a, what did he do? A 147.9 on this pair of medium tyres. Obviously, we've got cars coming into the pits of fresher tyres as the track grips come in. This is Carlos Sainz in front of us, who we've been battling with for most of the Grand Prix. We're getting onto the back of this massive train of cars here. All within. Look at that, so close, and a lot of these cars do have to pit again. So we are now in a really good position for this. Vettel comes around. Yuri Vips does the quickest lap of the race, a 147.3. We're just speeding up really quickly here. I forgot to check as well before the race what the lap times were from last time and what the qualifying time was, to see how much the cars have improved from last season to the next. I'll try to remember that for the next race as well, because it is something to look at. But Vettel, we're actually sitting, we're doing pretty well at the moment. We're sitting pretty. Who is that that's coming to the pits? That's Perez, who finds himself way out of the order. Ricciardo is into the lead of this Grand Prix. Norris has pitted, doesn't have to pit again, finds himself in third place on a pair of super softs that should see him through to the end of the race. So Norris, this McLaren, looking like they're sitting pretty for a podium here. We're not that far behind Norris on track, and a lot of these cars do have to pit again. We could find ourselves with an unlikely point scoring race here if we just manage this nicely here. We do have to start thinking about covering fuel though, because we've used a lot of it to stay in this position to fight. Norris does a 146.2 on that fresh pair of supers. Gasly though is a lot quicker on track than Vettel at the moment. We're not going to order him, we're just going to we're going to see if Gasly can get through. We are now up into the top 10, although it looks like Gasly is just falling behind here a little bit. We do have room to push with him though. We don't want to use too much fuel though. Here's the problem. So Albon does have to pit again. Ricciardo makes his second pit stop of the race. Is that? No, that was a Ferrari. Who was that? Was that someone in the pits? It is. Is that Hamilton in the pits as well? For his second pit stop of the race, comes out into... Oh! Not like Perez just jumped over Hamilton there. It was. So as it is, things have filtered out. Norris is in second place here. He's absolutely flying at the moment in that McLaren. We've got the two Red Bulls out as well. So who have we got? We've got Albon. Hulkenberg has to pit. Newgarden has to pit. So we're looking at moving up 3 places into 6th place if things work out here. Although obviously Verstappen is now out of the pits and in a really quick Mercedes car. A lot quicker than our car. Although not that much quicker, but he's on a fresh pair of tyres as we see the Red Bull and the Williams come into the pit. So we move up into 6th. We're about to get overtaken by Verstappen though. We've got some pretty aggressive fuel recovery to do over the last few laps of the race, it seems, as well. Although Gasly's hanging on to the back of Verstappen here in that Mercedes. Stroll is out as well in this Aston Martin. A really good race for this Aston Martin. That is one stop in this race. The Williams is up there. We've got an AlphaTauri up here as well. Although we say that, and then Hamilton manages to get back into the points. Ricciardo sets the quickest lap of the race with a 146.1. So if we can go on and hold on to this 8th place, although, oh, we've got a virtual safety car. No, we're not going to pit. We're going to just try and recover some fuel whilst the virtual safety car's out, which is going to work out well for us. Just won't go too quickly because you want to keep everything going. Who was it that crashed? It was Valtteri Bottas in an Alpha. I don't think we saw the virtual safety car at all last season, did we? But we're going to get back to pushing here as the virtual safety car ends. There's 8 laps to go. Leclerc is way out in front. Norris, as we say, having an absolute stormer of a race. Ricciardo is third, Alonso fourth, Stroll is fifth. We're 6 and 8 for Verstappen then, Latifi, Hamilton. Where is George Russell in this Mercedes? Not having the best of first races in the Mercedes car. Yeah, Russell sort of out of it at the moment. Who else is out of it here? Hulkenberg's come out a long way down the order. Perez in the Renault's out of the points as well. I don't think there's any of the other top runners out of it, although Albon's out of it as well, in 16th place in a Red Bull. But we do have room to push with this tyre, don't we? We're sort of holding Verstappen at bay, who's gone onto that soft tyre. This medium is just working so well this weekend, although we say that, and Verstappen is having a go here. We're going to have to sort of, it's going to be hard holding off Verstappen and Hamilton, considering we do have to recover fuel later on. Or should we do it now and try and hold off Verstappen whilst he's on this fresh tyre? Maybe make him go through his tyre. We know we've got a lot to go, 17 laps. We can keep pushing this tyre for a long time. Gasly is losing a little bit of pace now. He's under pressure from Lewis Hamilton at the moment. Looks like Hamilton's going to get him at some point as Hamilton's on that pair of super soft. Gasly drops down to 9th place. And we're going to get to recovering now with Gasly, since he's lost that place. Just not complaining, Gasly. There's no chance of keeping him behind you. Vettel, though, is doing a 1:47.2. We're opening that a little bit of a gap from Max Verstappen. We've got 0.8. Would normally take 8 laps of running in medium. We're going to have to run low mode for about 2 of those laps. So should we try and do it now whilst we've got this little bit of a gap and we're pushing on the tyres? It looks like we might be able to hold this 6th place up from the Mercedes here. Gasly, who's behind him, is Nicholas Latifi. I wouldn't be too worried about Latifi. He's about a 10th quicker than us at the moment. About 2 seconds to pick up. I don't think he's going to be able to pick that up. These tyres are going to start overheating soon though, which might be a problem. But we're holding this distance with Vettel, a 1.3, 1:47. We're still quicker, although we're slowing down at this lap. We do a 1:47.5. We're still quicker. Try to hang on to the fuel, although Verstappen's pushing a little bit more this lap. He might be trying to close up this gap. Yep, you've now overheated. We'll just switch back down to medium. And we'll switch back onto medium with the fuel as well. We're going to have to go low mode at some point again in this race just to finish this race. Are we actually catching up to Stroll here? We are catching up a little bit to Stroll. He's about 3 seconds up the road. I don't think it's going to be possible since we don't have much room with the fuel. We'll just try to cool down the tyres as well. Oh, Leclerc's coming to pit. Leclerc's pitted. He's come out 4th place. Puts Norris into 1st place. Is Norris going to be able to get through to the end of the race here? He's not, is he? Norris is going to have to pit as well, which is going to put the Renault, for an unlikely for where they've been for most of this race, would be great. I don't think they won at all last season, did Renault? And it's usually Renault that we see messing up with the strategy. Is Norris pitting? Is he just going to hang on? No, he is. Is he going for it? He's got 2 laps to go. That tyre is not going to make it though. Oh, it's going to be so disappointing if Norris just can't hold it. No, it is a final lap. Yes, it is. But I don't think the tyre's going to hang on. But Ricciardo's far enough behind him that even when these do fall off the cliff, we're going to have to go low mode here, aren't we? Because we've got to recover the fuel to the end of the race, although we can push the tyre to offset that. Norris, though, is in for this. These tyres, his super soft should have fallen off by now. No, it is 15% for the super soft. It's 20% for the ultras. So these tyres are going off with half a lap to go. Ricciardo's closing this gap now. As we see, Norris is losing time, 5.4 seconds. This tyre has totally gone in Norris's car. What's it going to be? 4.2. I think Norris is going to do it here in the McLaren. Looks like Norris is going to do it. Norris does. Norris comes across the line, 1st place. Danny Rick gets a 2nd. Alonso gets a podium. Leclerc, who had to pit, is going to come in 4th place. He's going to set the quickest lap of the race, but there's no points here for the quickest lap. Stroll a little bit further down the road will pick up 5th. we will pick up 6th place. Absolutely amazing for us. Hamilton grabs 7th, having overtaken Verstappen in those final few laps. Then Gasly comes 9th, and a point for Williams in the early going of the season from Nicholas Latifi. A great race for them. Vips up there in the AlphaTauri as well. Disappointing for Albon outside the top 10. Perez as well in the Renault. Russell outside the points as well. So yeah, really good race there for McLaren. So it's going to be interesting seeing this Constructors standing after the first race of the season. I think it should be Ferrari at the top. Although it's only 12, no, it's only 6, isn't it? So yeah, it should be McLaren then leading. But Lando Norris currently leading the Drivers' Championship. McLaren, with one of their cars in the points, is first, 25 points. And then Renault and Ferrari are currently both on 18 points. And we've got Red Bull 15. We find ourselves tied with Aston Martin after the first race of the season. Mercedes, disappointing 7th place for them. Williams picking up a point. And then AlphaTauri, Prema, Haas and Alfa Romeo all failing to pick up points in the first race of the season. So that wasn't a bad race, all things considered, considering where we qualified. Gasly, though, is still picking up. He's still improving as a driver here, which is good to see. So we're going to see improvement for him. He's not reached his peak yet. We came 6th overall, which is where we were looking to come. We're now losing a ton of money because we're paying Gasly more than we were paying Verline last season. A lot of money coming out of the account. But yeah, really good race for... Can't look at that. That was Brendan Hartley winning an F3 race there, because Hartley must be in F3 at the moment. Pit crew is still really good at the moment. I don't think anyone, we don't need to go through that at the moment. Sidney Poe goes to Hamilton. We'll have an interview with Corinne Shandok. Use team orders. We'll just do that one. It's going to upset Gasly, but he's going to get that back because he should be outperforming where he's expected to be throughout this season. We do have the engine coming for the next race, which is going to be Dubai. Where did we finish last season in Dubai? Dubai, come on, come on, come on. Can we get to see it? Can we get to see it last season? No, do we not? View season calendar? No, I don't think we can. So I don't know where we actually finished last year in Dubai. Although we had, I think that was the race after the first race last season. Vettel got ill in the game and couldn't race for 2 races, so I think that was where Stoffel Van Dorn came in and got... I think he get his 2nd place in the first race last season. I can't remember, but I'll go back and have a look before we do the next video. But the next race is Dubai. Should be a good race. You see McLaren pretty strong here, a really good strategy for them. Danny Rick, the Renault team, didn't mess up their strategy, at least with Daniel Ricciardo. Sergio Perez was way off the pace though, with 15th. Where did Norris actually qualify? Norris won the race from 18th place. It's outstanding. Outstanding. But anyway, that is it until next time. I'll see you down the road. Goodbye.